My name is Lexi, and for my world history project, I chose to do the ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses family tree. So to start off, some facts that I kind of saw when I was doing my research is that they include animals in a lot of their gods and goddesses. Like Bastet, she has a head of a cat, and sometimes there actually were animals that were the gods, like Beast and Bambi, and sometimes they even had animals to kind of like symbolize them. And another thing that I kind of saw is that a lot of siblings got married. I have red hearts to represent that, and sometimes the siblings had affairs with other siblings, and I have green hearts to represent that. And they all descended from Nun, who had 3 sons, Ra, Atum, and Amin. And there's 36 here in total. So with my 5 C's, the first one is context, and this is kind of like what life was like for someone who was living in ancient Egypt, with like how they used the Nile to kind of like use that with like farming and like bringing in water to kind of like help crops grow, and a lot of like, you know, market and selling things, and maybe like trading animals and stuff. Yeah. And then my second one is complexity. So complexity is kind of thinking about how like really detailed life was, because they're one of the most, you know, advanced societies at this time. So they really needed gods to help them kind of like explain why, you know, the sun comes out, why the moon comes out, why stars come out at night and everything. Yeah. And, you know, they didn't have like science to explain any of this. And my third one is continuity. So kind of like describing an issue over time. So like thinking about what if someone were to find a tomb or a scroll or maybe like an artifact that could change this whole entire family tree. And then my fourth one is causation, sort of like why do things happen? You know, like why is this family tree really even here? Why did they really even need gods? They really just simply needed gods to explain why life happened, why certain things happen. And a lot of these gods actually represent some of the same things, mostly just fertility and life and creation on Earth. My fifth one is contingency. This is the what if. So kind of picture this thing as like a timeline, and like what if something was removed from this? You know, what if something was a little bit different? What would change? What would be different about this? Yeah, so in conclusion, kind of this was really hard to draw, and the research was kind of complicated just because a lot of the gods and goddesses were explaining kind of like the same thing. And yeah, and there's this thing called a Ankhet, and it's basically just like a symbol of life. They use it in their Egyptian language to just kind of like symbolize life, just kind of like write that